Sit down for a second. Let's begin. I want to talk to you about something a lot of people deal with, but don't always know how to explain. Have you ever felt like people don't respect you, even when you've done nothing wrong, like you're being talked over, ignored, or treated like you don't matter, and you can't fully explain why? Because it's not always obvious. It's in the little things, and if you don't understand what's really going on, it keeps happening. So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 powerful ways to handle people who don't respect you, not just on the surface, but psychologically. Because once you understand this, you don't just respond differently, people start treating you differently. And just to be clear, this isn't about becoming aggressive or trying to control people. It's about understanding what's really happening underneath, so you stop being the person people take lightly. 1. Stop trying to be liked by everyone. Let's be honest for a second. A lot of disrespect starts here. Trying to be liked, trying to keep things smooth, trying not to upset anyone. You laugh when something wasn't even funny. You agree just to avoid tension. You let small things slide, again and again, and at first it feels harmless, but over time something changes. People start to feel like you won't push back, and once that idea settles in, they stop being careful with you. They interrupt you. They dismiss your opinions. They assume you'll just go along with things, not because they're evil, but because you've been easy to overlook. And I'm not saying this to blame you. Most people were taught this. Be nice. Don't cause problems. Keep the peace. But there's a difference between being kind and being too available for disrespect. The people who are naturally respected, they're not trying to be liked by everyone. They're okay with a little tension. They're okay with someone not agreeing with them, and that changes everything. So here's a simple shift. Instead of asking, how do I make people like me? Start asking, am I okay with how I'm being treated right now? Because the moment you stop chasing approval, people start taking you more seriously. Now once you see that, you start noticing something else. 2. People test what they can get away with. This might be uncomfortable, but it's real. People test you, not always in a big, obvious way. It's small things. They interrupt you once. They make a slight joke at your expense. They ignore something you said. And in that moment, they're watching, not in a calculated way, but instinctively. They're trying to feel, is this okay? Now here's where most people go wrong. They let it slide. They think, it's not a big deal. I don't want to make it awkward. But what you're actually doing is giving silent permission, and once that permission is felt, it doesn't stop there. It grows. That one interruption becomes a habit. That one joke becomes disrespect. That one moment becomes your pattern. So handling disrespect isn't just about big reactions. It's about catching things early, calmly, clearly. Sometimes it's as simple as, hold on, let me finish. Or, I don't like that. No long explanation, no emotional reaction, just clarity. Because the earlier you set the tone, the less people try to cross it. But let's go a little deeper, because sometimes it's not just about what they're doing. 3. You might be ignoring your own discomfort. This is the part a lot of people avoid. Sometimes you feel the disrespect, but you don't act on it. You notice it, but you tell yourself, it's fine. It's not worth it. Maybe I'm overthinking. So you stay quiet. You move on. You pretend it didn't bother you, but it did. And when you ignore that feeling, you disconnect from yourself a little bit. And the more you do that, the easier it becomes for people to cross your line, because even you are not fully honoring it. Respect starts internally, not in what you say, but in what you don't tolerate within yourself. If something feels off, that matters. You don't have to explode. You don't have to create drama. but you do need to acknowledge it, because when you ignore your own discomfort, you teach people to ignore it too. So next time something feels off, pause, not to react immediately, but to at least be honest with yourself. That didn't sit right with me. That awareness alone changes how you carry yourself, and people pick up on that. Now here's something most people don't realize. 4. You don't have to respond to everything. Not every situation needs a reaction, and this is where a lot of people lose power. They feel disrespected. So they rush to respond, they over-explain, they defend themselves, they try to fix how they're being perceived. But that can actually make things worse, because now you're chasing control. And people feel that. Sometimes the strongest response is no response. But not in a passive way, in a controlled way. You hear the comment, and you don't laugh. You don't engage. You just let it sit. That silence creates awareness. It makes the other person feel what just happened, and suddenly the energy shifts, because now you're not playing along. But here's the key. Your silence has to come from confidence, not fear. If you're silent because you're uncomfortable, people feel that. But if you're silent because you choose not to engage, that feels different. That feels like presence. And presence commands respect. And finally, this is the one most people struggle with. 5. Some people won't change, and that's your answer. You can do everything right. Speak clearly, set boundaries, stay calm, and some people will still disrespect you. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because they're used to a version of you that was easier to ignore. Or they simply don't value you the way you deserve. And this is where you have to be honest with yourself. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your time, your energy, your presence. And sometimes, the most powerful move is not correcting them. It's stepping back, creating distance, without drama, without announcements, just pulling your energy away. Because when someone realizes they can't treat you the same way anymore, two things happen. They either adjust or they fall off, and either way, you win at the end of the day. Respect isn't something you force, it's something people feel based on how you carry yourself. What you allow, what you ignore, what you walk away from. And once you start taking yourself seriously, you'll notice something change, not just in other people, but in you. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop replaying situations in your head. You stop feeling small in rooms you belong in. So next time someone disrespects you, don't rush to react. Just pause and ask yourself, am I okay with this? And if the answer is no, that's where your power begins. If this spoke to you, subscribe for more videos like this. And in the comments, what's one moment where you felt disrespected, but stayed quiet?